everyone. Today I'll be talking about two critical clauses of ISO IEC 17025-2017, the International Standard for Testing and Calibration Laboratories. Specifically, we'll explore Clause 6, that is resource requirement, and Clause 7, process requirement. These clauses form the operational backbone of any accredited laboratory, ensuring technical competence and reliable results. So let's start with Clause 6. 6.1 General. This clause ensures that laboratories have all necessary resources to operate competently. The standard requires that resources affecting laboratory activity must be available and controlled. This includes personnel, facilities, equipment, systems, and external provided support and services. 6.2 clause, that is personnel. Now, personal competence is fundamental. The laboratory must ensure all personnel are competent based on appropriate education, qualification, training, technical knowledge, and experience. The key requirements include documented procedures for determining competency requirement, authorization of personnel. There should be training programs for new staff and continuous development. There should be supervision of personnel until they demonstrate competence. Maintaining records of relevant qualification, training, skills, and experience. The laboratory must also communicate to personnel their duties, responsibilities, and authority. This ensures everyone understands their role in maintaining quality and technical validity. Let's talk about clause 6.3, that is facility and environmental condition. Now, facilities and environmental condition must be suitable for laboratory activities and must not adversely affect result validity. This includes there is adequate space for performing work safely, effective separation of incompatible activities, access control and security measures, monitoring, controlling and recording environmental condition as required, such as temperature, humidity, lighting, vibration, dust, or electromagnetic interference. The laboratory must implement measures to prevent contamination or cross-contamination. When work is performed at sites outside the permanent laboratory facility, known as field testing, the requirements of this standard still apply. Coming to clause 6.4, that is equipment. Now, the equipment must be capable of achieving the required accuracy and comply with specifications relevant to the laboratory activities. Before being placed into service, equipment must have calibrated or verified to establish it meet operated by authorized personnel, maintained according to procedures, protected from adjustment that would invalidate the results. The laboratory must maintain records for each piece of equipment significant to results, including its identification, manufacturing details, calibration dates and results, maintenance records, and any damage or malfunction. Equipment requiring calibration must be labeled with calibration status and due dates. Clause number 6.5, that is metrological traceability. Now, this is crucial for ensuring result reliability. The laboratory must establish and maintain metrological traceability of measurement results through documented unbroken chains of calibration, each contributing to measurement uncertainty. This is typically achieved by calibration by a competent laboratory, using certified reference material with traceability to SI units, direct realization of SI units with appropriate uncertainty documentation. Clause number 6.6, that is externally provided products and services, talks about how laboratories often rely on external suppliers for reagents, consumables, calibration services or testing services. Thus, a laboratory must ensure that externally provided products and services are suitable by defining, reviewing and approving the requirements, evaluation and selecting suppliers based on competence, maintaining records of supplier evaluation and approved supplier list, communicating requirements to external providers. Now coming to clause 7, that is process requirement. In process requirements, 7.1 clause talks about review of requests, tenders and contracts. Now before accepting work, laboratory must review requests to ensure requirements are adequately defined and documented. The laboratory has the capability and resources to meet the requirements. Appropriate methods are selected and capable of meeting requirements. Any difference between the request and tenders are resolved. The customer is informed about the method to be used. Any deviation from the contract must be communicated to and accepted by the customer. This review process protects both laboratory and the client. Clause 7.2, that is selection, verification and validation of methods. The laboratory must use appropriate methods and procedures for all laboratory activities. Methods should be latest, valid edition of standards where available. It should be laboratory developed methods when necessary, and non-standard methods only when validated and acceptable to the customer. Now before introducing any method, the laboratory must verify it can properly perform the method. Non-standard methods and laboratory developed methods must be validated to confirm they are fit for the intended use. Validation must be extensive as necessary and include parameters such as measurement range, accuracy, precision, detection limit and robustness. Clause 7.3 talks about sampling. Now when the laboratory performs sampling as a part of testing or calibration, it must have sampling plan and method. The plan should be based on appropriate statistical method and address factors to be controlled. Sampling records must include the sampler identification, environmental conditions, diagrams or photographs of sampling location when appropriate, and any deviation from the sampling plan. Clause 7.4 talks about handling of test or calibration items. Now the laboratory, it must have procedures for transportation, receipt, handling, protection, storage, retention and disposal of items. This includes a system for unambiguous identification to prevent confusion. Upon receipt, abnormalities or deviation from specified condition must be recorded. When items must be stored under specified condition, these must be maintained, monitored and recorded. Point 5, that is technical records. Now, the technical records, it must contain sufficient information to facilitate identification of uncertainty factors and enable repetition of the activity under conditions as close as possible to the original. Records must be retained in a secure manner and include original observation, derived data, calibration records, staff identification, and dates of activities. Clause 7.6 talks about evaluation of measurement of uncertainty. Now, in this, laboratory must identify contribution to measurement uncertainty. When the test method prevents rigorous evaluation, the laboratory must at least attempt to identify all components and make reasonable estimation based on knowledge of method performance and measurement scope. This is critical to understanding the confidence level of the results. Clause 7.7 talks about how to ensuring validity of results. Now, the laboratory must have procedures for monitoring the validity of results through using reference materials or quality control materials, participation in ILC and PT, replicate testing using the same or different methods, retesting of retained items, and analysis of trends in results. When this monitoring indicates results may be outside acceptance criteria, planned action must be taken to prevent incorrect results being reported. Now coming to 7.8 clause, that is reporting of results. Results must be reported accurately, clearly and objectively, typically in test report or calibration certificate. Reports must include all information necessary for interpretation, including identification of methods used, measurement uncertainty under relevant and clear indication when results are not covered by the scope of accreditation. Now coming to clause 7.9 and 7.10, these two clauses go hand in hand. The laboratory must have documented process for receiving, evaluating and making decision on complaints as well as for identifying and managing non-conforming work. When work doesn't conform to procedures or agreed requirements, the laboratory must implement corrective action and prevent the release of incorrect results. So to wrap up today's session, let's quickly recap what we've covered. So in clause 6, that is resource requirement, we discussed about personal competence and training requirement, about facilities and environmental conditions, about equipment calibration and maintenance, metrological traceability, managing externally provided products and services. And in clause 7, that is process requirement, we've covered contract review procedures, method selection, verification and validation, sampling protocols, handling and identification of test items, technical record keeping, measurement uncertainty evaluation, and ensuring validity of results through quality control. Reporting requirements and handling complaints and non-conforming work. These two clauses are operational heart of ISO 17025, ensuring a laboratory has both resources and processes needed for competent operation. In the next video, I'll be discussing clause 8, that is the last clause, that is management system requirements, which ties everything together through documentation, control of records, risk management, and continual improvement. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with the complete ISO 17025 series. Don't forget to follow for more quality management content. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.